we'll get you the full starting lineups in a second, but it's Costa and Sheridan running for brooms up. Sheridan wins it, and it's going to be Dale Farnan who falls on top of it and going to get boxed out. Budget control is also going to be with Washington. Starting lineup for Washington, though, we're going to get immediately some of Katrina Hicks and Bernie Burgess. So I believe Melissa Smith and Cody Nardone will be the beaters, with Tyra Trudeau, Dale Farnan, Julia Bear, and John Sheridan. Same starting lineup we saw against Boston the first time. We're going to see Mario Nassa now sub in to play alongside Ashley Dolan without budget control. Tyler Beckman, Grace Dastu, Teddy Costa, and Jake Archibald as the keeper are the quaffle game for Boston. Mark defense right out of the way. Books from Boston. That means Julia Bear will be open the way they've been playing it against Washington. Just back and forth along that side. Melissa Smith tap beats out Beckman. Sheridan looking to make a cut. A great body control. Gets through one and finishes through. Really nice ball movement from Washington. It is the thing they've become known for early in this season. They get the opening goal and go up 10-0.
Yeah, and it's Trudeau to Sheridan after working the ball to Julia Bear unmarked to create that opportunity, and Sheridan finishing through traffic to get the goal.
Archibald over to Beckman. Budget control was with Smith and Nardone. They've done a great job of holding budget control early in a lot of these games, and it's been kind of to their team's advantage. They're going to do it again there. Nassa's beat out. Dastu, I believe, is beat out as well. Archibald gets it. It's eventually going to be Washington's ball, though, no budget. Can Beckman get a hand on Sheridan? He tries, he can't. Costa is there, but it's Trudeau wide open on the other side. He finishes 20-0. Washington right out of the gates.
And another strong start from the Washington Admirals. That play was created by Melissa Smith and Cody Nardone all over Boston in the half court. They never really got settled. They never looked comfortable. And before they knew it, Tyra Trudeau was scoring on them on the other end.
Yep. Archibald now has the ball. Budget control, as we mentioned, has consistently been with Washington. It's been more about what happens when they lose it. That's really been their issues.
Yeah.
But that has not been a Carter Nardone and Melissa Smith problem. They've done a great job holding on to it. Dastu's looking to work down the side. Bear gets beat out. Archibald has space behind the hoops. Just lays it off to Dastu, who goes back to Archibald. Archibald tries to uncork one. It looked like Trudeau, I believe, got a hand on it. Sheridan is not going to be allowed to do that. Beat before that slap. I don't think it'll be a card. It looked pretty incidental, but it will be Boston Forge possession for sure.
Yes.
So Costa will have the ball. Still two bludgers in the hands of Washington. Smith behind the hoops, Nardone in front of them. Archibald was beat out after attempting that shot that got blocked by Trudeau. Oh, Nardone tried to beat on Dolan. Dolan almost stole it. The end result is that Nardone does get him because he was able to come down with the catch. That means that Dolan was finally effectively beat. Nasta is just going to jump over a beat from Nardone, which is going to mean bludger control for Boston. A big opportunity there.
Yeah, that's a costly mistake by Cody Nardone. Uncharacteristic.
Yeah, took his opportunity with Dolan out of the play, but I mean, a missed beat just meant a free bludger control turnover. Nardone now making a big hit on Nasta.
He has to know that Mario Nasta can hurdle that bludger thrown there.
Yep. Archibald with the ball on the left. Nardone is going to get beat out. Nasta now comfortable in possession. Makes a beat on Smith. It's no bludger situation. A big hit there by Farnan. Ball gets out to Costa, though. Now it's Trudeau, next man up, looking to make the stop. The two-handed floater from Teddy Costa. Teddy Costa special right through the middle hoop. Boston's finally on the board. It's 20-10.
Oh, and that's more like it from Boston behind Mario Nasta, blowing up the play on the near side for Archibald to go in, and then the offload to Costa, who drives and scores.
Beckman stepping up here. Pass across to Farnan. Farnan down the wing. Back to Trudeau. A big hit there on Trudeau. Bear is going to be able to get control, though. Marked by Beckman. Nasa's not able to make that beat, but Dolan's able to clean it up. I think it will be bludger control and no bludgers. Trudeau looking to drive. He's going to be met by Archibald. He flings it across the Bear. Bear, though, gets beat by Nasta. Sheridan and Dastu in a foot race, but it doesn't matter who got there first because ultimately Mario Nasta's bludger did.
Yeah, that's a really good recovery from Mario Nasta to prevent the goal.
Fenning subbing in that Beckman-Fenning sub we've seen on the first line every game so far this series. Bludger control was won by Washington, though they couldn't convert the goal, so it is 20-10 still. Archibald with the ball on the left. Rain really has cleared up. It was really just a drizzle. I don't expect it to be affecting play on the field, especially on a turf surface. Costa flings one behind to Dastu. She gets beat immediately by Trudeau, who goes for all the ball. Easy cleanup by Smith, and it's just going to be another stop by Washington. We see that first line sub there. It's going to be Burgess and Katrina Hickson, and really it's going to be the Quaffle line too. Cole, Heald, also into the game. Mulcahy as well. This has been where the tides have turned occasionally on Washington so far this season or even the series. We'll see if they can make more of it here.
Yeah, they're going to need to execute better. Interesting that Brian Mulcahy is now playing on this line, swapping with Farnan, who appeared with the first line.
Heald slowly bring it up alongside Cole. Beat there on Costa. And now it's Littleton with a ton of space to work. Cole and Littleton, a lot of experience playing along each other in the club level and the college level, and now the MLQ level. Littleton was probing the zone, but decides not to go.
And this is the patience that I like to see out of the Washington Admirals, just looking for their opportunity as Heald finds Littleton.
Yeah, Littleton's definitely the danger back behind the hoops there, especially with Heald matched up. Just didn't like his options quite enough, was about to hit some contact, didn't have an open shot. It was a good job of collapsing there by the Boston defense. You got to make your transitions quickly against a team that moves the ball as well as Washington does.
Washington's beaters waiting for an opportunity.
Yeah, and this is what we've seen from Washington, right? They're not going to get overly aggressive with control.
No.
As Littleton's looking to work from behind again. Ripped across to Mulcahy. Mulcahy can only get it with one hand. Fenning's looking to push him out of bounds. A floater just keeps Littleton in bounds. And now there's a chance to go, but Costa jumps in front of the passing lane.
Yeah, that's great awareness from Teddy Costa to intercept that pass, and great awareness from Fenning to try to push Littleton out of bounds.
All the bludgers in the possession of Burgess and Hicks, so Boston no choice but to slow it down. And Nesta gets beat, which is going to be a free press here. Archibald's going to flip one all the way back to Fenning. Fenning's actually got some space, but he eats a beat in the face from Burgess.
Yeah, Fenning just needed to get rid of that quaffle sooner, take a shot. He needs to know that the bludgers were right there.
Yeah, I mean, Archibald was doing that to kill time without using his reset, so Fenning should have been aware of that. Another pass all the way up. I'm sure Costa or Dastu would have been an option.
Yep.
Good attempt to attack here. A big tackle, though, by Archibald is going to get the ball loose from Mulcahy. Ball's loose on the ground. Mulcahy just slipped in. Nobody ever beat Mulcahy. It is a pure effort play from Brian.
So clever to find the quaffle in traffic and locate the hoop. He's relentless.
Yeah. 30-10, Washington opening up a lead, and it's another iffy shift from that first line of Boston. They only get the 10 goals. Skur, though, the leading scorer on this team, back after picking up a little knock in the last one, looking to move things. And Max Havlin, obviously, the big player on this team. Littleton was looking for a swat. Arjona trying to get bludger control. I think she's going to get beat. No, there's going to be no interaction there. It's going to be Havlin who beats Hicks. Hicks is trying to box him out, does successfully do so. Bertram hits the ground. Cole was considering running against one bludger. No, they're going to slow it down. And honestly, I like this. There's no reason for Admirals not to keep being controlled, right? Boston has showed that really where they struggled is in the half court. If you just make it all half court possessions, you're daring Boston to score a goal.
Absolutely. And Justin Cole, I think, wisely saw that Max Havlin was back there, and a long pass behind the hoops to Littleton would not have succeeded. Heald takes her space.
Yeah, the bench wanted the shot, so and I don't mind her taking it, but Ian Skur read that one like a book. And that's the kind of aggression that we just were talking about not wanting to see from the Admirals. Burgess was all the way up, all alone in the offensive zone. It ends up working fine, though. He's going to have to throw back, which means Hicks is going to get beat. So really the end result is going to be a brief no-budge situation that Skur is looking to take advantage of. Skur is so hard to take down, but okay, he finally does. And Burgess and Hicks clean it up with ease. There is no getting through the relentlessness of this Washington defense.
Yeah, and Mulcahy has been a key addition to the second line, which is where Washington has had trouble on both ends of the field now, getting the goal and now with a goal-saving tackle.
And now
there.
Washington has gotten through that entire shift of their second beater line with no damage at all. Their starters are back in. It's 30-10, and Arjona and Havlin have not yet to be able to get bludger control from the Admirals. Fenning's beat out. There's going to be a lot of space for Littleton. Nobody's stepping to him fast enough. Pass across the Cole. Cole finishes the alley-oop. It is 40-10, Washington.
Beautiful from David Littleton, drawing the defense in. He knew Cole was there the whole time and found him for the goal.
Boston is going to have to take their first momentum timeout. So much hype after that Charlotte game, and then suddenly their backs are against the wall after a great start from Washington.
Yeah, and this is just such a great case study in how close these teams are this weekend, that a team could win way out of range against Charlotte and then come back and be trailing early to Washington and need to take a timeout to talk things over.
But the thing is, these teams are so good that the team who's not coming off a game is consistently looking a lot fresher.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Boston, yes, they ran up the score, but, I mean, they had to run a lot of fast breaks. They were relying on some of their best players. Obviously, Havlin had a big shift in that game. So it's never going to be free, not in this series, not against the kind of defense that Washington can play. And now it's up to Washington to figure out how they're going to kind of maintain this. And, we've seen that they've had some, occasionally some airbrain moves in the beater game. Burgess almost got caught out. They were able to, it worked out because Mulcahy made a big stop and they were able to reset well enough. But, they just don't have any rooms for errors because Boston will eventually punish them if they start making the errors. But, yeah, it's hard to complain about what Washington has come out and done in this game, and it's going to be up to Boston to adjust.
Right, absolutely. They have to keep finding goals. A player I would love to see right now is TJ Jenneret, who has been a spark plug off the bench for Washington early on in the last series against New York. They only played him early on in the first game, or the last game that they played. They didn't play him at all in their first game against Boston in the Chaser game. I would love to see him here as Washington cycles through their Chaser lines.
Yeah, Nardone and Smith back in the game, and we were talking to the team before the game. Cody Nardone had bought a white headband for this season. With the level he's playing at, as Cyrus Joe said, he's probably not going to get any use of it all season. But yeah, definitely has been a really solid beater partner from Wesley Smith, who we already knew coming into the season was going to be their most fundamentally strong beater. And it's resulted in them, if never, blowing teams out. And this is also what Kyle Tyler said. Maybe they're not going to blow teams out in the way of Max Havlin is, but they're going to give their team a chance to succeed. That's what they're doing in this game so far. That said, bludger control has finally gone over to Boston. Max Havlin and Eddie Arjona do have it, and we'll look to see if they can do something different. It's this young group of Quaffle players and Harry Greenhouse on the field. Fenning, Skura, Greenhouse, and Bertram. Greenhouse does have the ball on the wing behind Havlin, swings it up to Skura. Havlin looking to press deep into the defensive zone. As Nardone steps out, it is a tap beat. It's a swing across to Fenning. Fenning doesn't see an opportunity to attack. Goes to Bertram. Bertram tries a pretty hopeful shot. She's going to get beat, and there's going to be some directionality going the other way. But it is against two bludgers, so Washington, once again, is going to take the smart approach and slow it down.
Yes, that was most definitely the smart approach with Eddie Arjona back and Max Havlin kind of lurking around mid-pitch, wishing for Washington to go there.
Yeah, but it's not just about offensive bludger control. It's what they can do with defensive bludger control. As Heald is going to try to take a shot there. Maybe it was just a pass. Mulcahy is going to get the reset. It is going to be all Boston beaters, though, so it's going to need to be a reset. Havlin just fires Mulcahy out of the play. His second beat, though, was a little far. He's just trying so hard to hit Littleton, but ultimately it's just because he had the free beater to use, or the free bludger to use, excuse me. So reset used. This is the only actual outcome of that play.
Fun to watch, nevertheless.
Oh, of course. Always fun to watch Max Havlin play Quidditch.
Yep.
Havlin steps out high, doesn't end up beating. It's an exchange beat between Arjona and Smith, which is going to be another chance to press. It's going to be a forced attempt here from Washington. They're going to use every inch of the offensive zone. Littleton all the way in the corner, looking for the long pass to Mulcahy. Mulcahy ends up having to swat it up. I honestly think he might have had the room to take possession of that ball.
Yeah, he might have. I mean, Max Havlin was coming up from behind, but he could have tried a quick catch and shoot.
But ultimately, I mean, that's all they could do. They didn't have a reset to use, so throw it all the way back behind, try to throw it up atop, just see if you can buy enough time for your beaters.
Right.
They weren't able to.
Right.
So now what can Boston do with this bludger control? It was not the offensive position they wanted the first time around. Now it's Skura with room in the lane. Mulcahy has stepped up, though. Tyler Trudeau heavily favoring the side of the field that Harry Greenhouse is currently residing on. It's a bit of a zone here from Washington. They know that this team wants to shoot. It's going to be a sudden press here from Washington. They got bludger control, and they forced the reset. A big play there by the Washington beaters.
Yeah, good job from Boston, too, to absorb that pressure and give themselves another chance as Katrina Hicks was running at the Quaffle carrier.
So Hicks and Nardone, I think really the first time we've seen them on the field together. It's been very set lines. Hicks looking to make a high press. There's no reset to be used, so it's the long pass to Fenning, but Fenning catches it. And, okay, he slips out of the tackle. That is the size of Fenning that we saw in that USQ Cup run that you talked about. So hard to bring down. Finishes with authority. Boston finally gets their second goal, 40-20.
Yeah, and there might have been a bludger deflected there, too. It was looking for a second like Fenning might have lost his chance, but he gathered himself and scored the goal.
Yep. This is the change you wanted. You wanted to see TJ Jenner in the game. Bludger control is with Washington. Max Havlin was pressing high, knowing he had Eddie Arjona back for the reset. So now he swings the ball back to her. When will we get to see Jenner touch the ball? It's going to be Trudeau for now. We see a shift between Mulcahy and Generate.
Yeah, Sheridan in the game too. This is, Washington is now mixing their chaser lines too. Which
They're
they
asking
haven't
for
done
the
a ton
swing
of.
over to Heald. At least Burgess is, because he has her well defended, but Trudeau doesn't seem to see it.
Yeah.
Sheridan is now looking to drive. He's got Heald wide open. Easy pass to Heald. It's finished. 50-20, Washington.
And that's textbook from Washington. That's more of what we want to see. And maybe the answer for Washington is to start, experimenting with their lines, mixing it up as Skur comes down the pitch.
Skur tried to go end-to-end, but he wasn't ready for the kind of defense Tyler Trudeau plays. Unfortunately, I believe Tyler Trudeau is going to get a slide tackle foul here for what he did to Morgan Bertram there. Bertram seems okay, but like I said, almost definitely going to be a foul called. So it's going to be the illegal slide called on Trudeau. 50-20 now the score.
TJ Generette will take the keeper headband.
Definitely not the tallest keeper in the sport.
No.
Bertram can't change because it wasn't an advantage call, and she gets slipped out. McGargan misses the shot. Greenhouse will be first to it, so Boston can reset the offense. Hill didn't take the green headband, but she will be taking over keeper duties. Generate will be playing point with the green headband, which also looks a little yellow. A high press here from Washington, and they get Greenhouse. Sheridan trying to get in around Skura. Skura gets beat. It's going to be Sheridan trying to run on the man disadvantage here, but I think they're just going to slow it up and try to kill the penalty, which is the right play.
Yeah, very wise. Max Havlin back with the bludger. Bernie Burgess is going to fire,
Oof.
but Havlin catches.
So clean from Havlin. We get a sub. Montero is going to join Havlin here. Oh, Sheridan just losing control of the ball. Greenhouse is going to get down on top of him. Montero is going to clean it up. That's an unfortunate loss of possession there from Sheridan. Skura looking to run. Max Havlin sitting in the opposing keeper zone. Skura hits the mid-range shot. Never, no doubter there from Skura. 50-30.
Max Havlin looked over his shoulder as if to say, "Are you coming?" The path was open, and Skura went through.
I feel like Max Havlin has felt himself doing a lot of that this game,
Yep.
or at least this season so
Yep.
far. The stoppage here. Not sure what the discussion is. I think it might have been what we were talking about, that TJ Generate's green headband started looking a little bit yellow.
Yeah.
Or maybe just a little knock that Sheridan, that Generate might have picked up, because
Yeah.
Cole is now subbing in at keeper. Not a bad idea to get your starting seeker off the field already.
Right.
But, given, I don't think it's just TJ Generate's specifically, because their beaters obviously do struggle a bit in central pitch, but at what point, Tyler Trudeau playing against his old players, don't you think he probably wants to get that yellow headband on at some point?
Yeah, if I were the Admirals, I would want Tyler Trudeau to get a chance with the yellow headband. And it's strange to me that he hasn't yet in games where the Washington Admirals have really struggled on snitch on pitch.
Seeing Colin Bourne and Brendan Hutton line that we've seen a few times already today coming out on the pitch. Bourne steps up high, tries to make a throw on Havlin. Havlin dodges it and had thrown his bludger back anyway. Beats Bourne out of the play. Now Greenhouse out of the play. Oh, the shot just skims out. Heald's able to recover. She swings and looks to throw. It's going to be Finn McGargan and Julia Bear looking to race down, but Hutton's ultimately going to be the decider. Havlin misses on Hutton. It doesn't matter. Montero's all over that bludger, but Hutton is able to now press Montero with help from Bourne. Oh, a beautiful play there by Hutton. Just throws the ball over to Bourne. Bourne's going to be able to control both of them. The only bludger is loose. Can Heald attack here? Havlin, though, actually ran all the way back to get that throw, but then misses Sheridan. A wild play here developing. Now it is Bourne making the beat on Montero. We did expect chaos when Hutton entered the game at beater. That's exactly what we've gotten so far.
Yeah, it's been great to watch.
Now we're finally getting a settled down offense. I don't believe at any point Washington had to use their reset, so they're still sitting on a reset that they could use. Sheridan now is going to go a little deeper in the zone, draw Havlin with him, then the reset back to Bear while they wait for their beaters. Bears throw a little short to Cole. Cole's going to happily finally use the reset. We're waiting on the call. Getting a little windy out here. I think they might have called that someone was out of bounds at some point. Yep. Greenhouse will take over the ball. 50-30 the score. We don't have an official time, but somewhere around the 15-16 minute mark. Greenhouse looking to run behind Haviland. Setup we've seen many times through the years. Hutton just makes a throw, but Greenhouse has the block. Cole tries to wrap him up. Bear tries to wrap him up. Sheridan finally forces the loose ball. You can't go through this whole Washington defense. Though now that I'm saying that, it looks like there might be a foul. We're going to wait to see if a contact foul is coming. Both ARs have a bit of an opinion. 50-30 the score, 16:02 the time. This isn't a spot that Washington hasn't been before. You know, they had the lead for Boston. They had the lead for most of the Charlotte first 20 minutes. They had some leads against New York. It's about that finishing. It's about staying composed all the way through the game. And I do think we have to talk, because I feel like we're almost downplaying. I mean, Boston has lost one East Division game ever. It was New York in 2019, Game 3. Washington has never gotten, I don't think, close to beating Boston.
Yeah.
It would be a huge monumental achievement for them to score a win. It'd be a great way to get their first win of the season as they go into what are going to be two very important games for them against Charlotte. One today to finish up the day, and then one tomorrow.
For sure. You know, even with the Boston players who have gone to the Washington Admirals program, Boston are still the defending champions of this league. They are the Benefit Cup holders looking to defend their crown, and they don't lose often, especially not in the regular season, only once.
Yep. Yeah, every game won until their very last game of the 2019 regular season. And talking to the team, that was kind of a spark plug for them. That was kind of a, wow, we do have issues. We need to figure things out before championships, and kind of led to that run. So Sheridan, and this is an issue we've talked about a few times in our analysis this season, has a lot of trouble staying on his broom.
Yeah.
And this time he's going to make some contact while being off of it. He's going to pick up a card. Oh,
and
Greenhouse is also
Greenhouse
picking up a
will
card?
go to the box too.
Yellow card. I'm not sure I heard the call. So that's going to mean that there's not going to be a quaffle turnover. So that second card is actually very important.
Yeah.
It's going to keep Washington with the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sheridan and Greenhouse, Maryland players, past and present, come off the field, but it's going to be a timeout immediately called here. I believe it's Washington's timeout because I think Boston already has used theirs in this game.
Yes, that is correct.
And I think it's just kind of going to be a gut check timeout from Washington, talking about what we're doing well and how we kind of keep it pushing forward. I think they've got 4 minutes more of snitch on pitch, pre-snitch on pitch, and obviously it's going to be huge that they try to compete and finally get that grab that could propel them to a win.
Yeah, and look at this. As Washington goes into the huddle, Tyler Trudeau is now wearing the yellow headband, so there is maybe an answer to the question that we've been asking for a couple games now. It'll be interesting to see who they send out to start the game. But first, we have a double chaser penalty to Maryland players of different generations, Harry Greenhouse and John Sheridan, in the box with Washington with the ball.
Yeah, Justin Barnes is going to be our snitch, someone that all of these seekers have plenty of familiarity with it, including Tyler Trudeau. So, you know, if maybe he thinks he's got the best look here, TJ's had some solid looks. Still a young player, still has not played seeker all that much. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things progress from here. A really big opportunity for Washington to potentially score a win. They're still looking for their first win of the season, which, again, is hard to believe because of how many hard-fought games they've played. As we get towards championships, if they don't pick up a couple wins and they keep sliding down the seedings, this is not a team I want to see early at MLQ championships because they're going to be a test for everybody.
Yeah, no, they're a tough team, and let's not forget they have Rochester waiting for them next weekend. Yeah. A team that has looked solid at times, and I don't think Washington wants to be heading into that series with qualification on the line.
Yeah, if they need at least. If they can only pick up 2 wins this weekend, then all that matters is the series result there. It would be it would be whoever wins 2 out of 3. If they can get to 3 wins, then Rochester would have to sweep them to keep them from qualifying. So every win counts. If they can't pick up 3 off Charlotte at this point, which means to get to 3 wins, they'd have to get 1 off Boston. I'm guessing this is going to be their best chance.
Yeah.
Hutton tries the beat on Montero. She just resets. Bloodshed Control stays. Bourne is now playing with Hutton. A nice pass across to Hutton. Hutton gets Kieran Collier on the blind side, and that's going to be Bloodshed Control. Great play there by Washington. Bear and Heald working together. Bear in the lane. She makes that look so easy. And, you know, I don't think teams execute plays enough out of timeouts in Quidditch. I feel like Washington executed everything there perfectly.
Yeah, no, that's a great call. And you're right. Why not draw up a play in that timeout scenario, especially in such a close game that is so meaningful for your program and your qualification hopes? Every goal counts.
Yep. Smith and Nardone now back in the game for Washington after getting a long break from Borden and Hutton, playing some good minutes there. They do have Bloodshed Control as well from that nice play the two of them ran. Collier looking to throw at Smith. Smith looking to throw Collier. Fenning gets the ball in the Collier misses, and Cole with the big stop. And can they run in transition? No, Costa is in the right place in the right time. He's going to use his reset.
Yeah, smart play by Teddy Costa.
Yep. Nardone, a big missed beat there on Montero, and that could mean Bloodshed Control. It also could mean no budget situation. Archibald just slips in by the PR hoop. Costa finds him easy, 60-40.
Yeah, now we have that top Boston line in the game again. That's the experience from Jake Archibald, who is one of those Boston players who has only lost once in the regular season.
Yep. And I believe that Montero and Collier are going to prioritize Bloodshed Control here as we head towards snitch on pitch time. I imagine Nasta and Dolan will be the beating pair come time for snitch on pitch. Littleton has the ball on the near side. I say Montero misses a kick beat there, but I don't think it's ultimately going to matter. Littleton's in the lane. I tried a shot there. It's no good. Archibald. Oh! Shot goes through the hoop. Maybe not. I think the refs are going to discuss it.
I think the assistant refs are going to wave this one off.
Yeah. The near side AR, who had our view, which was the perfect view to see that Littleton shot, was not all that close to that hoop. So the goal's going to be no good. It's going to stay 60-40. Archibald, after there's a little bit of soccer play, will be resetting it. Dastu, Fenning, Costa accompanying him, and Kieran Collier and Serena Montero still holding Bloodshed Control from Nardone and Smith. Dastu on the near side, marked by Bear. Bear looking to get a wrap on. Eventually eats a beat from Montero. Dastu looking to press deeper. Smith steps out to her. She eats a tap beat. Cole with a big hit there on Archibald. And that's going to be free for Smith to clean up. Again, those half-court struggles continue to plague the Forge.
Yeah, and what a tackle by Justin Cole. What a defensive recovery to get out there and anticipate the pass. Yeah. That's the look of a player who's played with this Boston core
I think that's
before.
What's been so important about the way Admirals have been playing defense. They get their hits completely legal, like they wait for it not to be defenseless receiver, but before you even have a chance to set yourself and think about your next pass. And that's how they've created so many turnovers, even without a bludger, which is not an easy thing to do.
No.
Mulcahy on the near side, obviously the player you want in on snitch on pitch. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Sheridan get in here at some point as well. That's going to be Littleton all the way behind. Fenning's going to step out. It goes over to Mulcahy. A good wrap from Dastu. A reset back to Cole. Costa goes for the slap after waiting for him to set himself, but there's going to be no harm there on the Admirals offense. They need to wait another 30 seconds if they want this to be the last possession. They do not have bludger control, so it's a risky endeavor to go that route. It's going to be a hit on Smith. I think Smith is going to get called for contact from behind. That's going to be costly on a number of levels. It's going to make them down a beater. It's going to allow Boston to take the last possession before the 20 minutes.
Right. And this is the opposite of what Washington tried to engineer in the last game, where they held possession and dropped the ball on the ground at the 20-minute mark because they had bludger control. Now they're going to hit that 20-minute mark with a beater in the penalty box, and not just any beater, their best performing beater, Melissa Smith.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And they wanted, clearly, Nardone and Smith out there for snitch on pitch. It'll be interesting to see, because I guess Boston could hypothetically throw back Washington's little strategy in their face, and then Melissa Smith would still have 40 seconds left on her penalty when we came back from the 20-minute mark. So interesting to see how Boston plays this. Obviously, Washington just kind of showed them the guide. I would honestly play it probably just like that. Boston, though, is looking to score, I think.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit more aggressive than that. They're not comfortable being behind in this game.
They now have 10 seconds left. There is an advantage call. Fenning's looking to work on Cole. And Costa beautifully finishes through. And this is going to be a relevant penalty because I do not believe, well, first of all, Smith would not have been out of the box for sure before the goal because she was only about 15 seconds into her penalty. But this Quaffle player will now be in the box as we start the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, one little thing Teddy Costa did to score on that goal, instead of catching the ball flat-footed behind the hoops and risking a Washington chaser coming out and laying a tackle like we just saw, Teddy Costa positioned himself a little bit farther back and ran in to meet the ball on the way into his hoops. That's really hard to stop.
Right. Yeah, and part of that comes into the pass you're giving them, too.
Yeah.
Like, you have to help lead them.
Right.
I don't know if that, I forget if that was Fenning or Destu that made that look, but putting him in a position to score, a lot of more hospital-type passes have we've been seeing from Boston in some of these half-court situations.
The call was positional interference on number 8, David Littleton, I believe.
So when this all gets sorted out, it's going to be Littleton serving a penalty. It'll be Melissa Smith out of the box. So, yeah, Littleton will serve the penalty. The time is apparently 19:59, so Washington will get a possession. So they might actually be able to kill this Quaffle. So Cole will have the ball. Can the Admirals kill a whole minute of penalty is the question without losing possession. So as soon as Cole touches this, as soon as the play gets started, we'll hit the 20-minute mark, but Washington can play this possession as long as they want to. Set score will be 120 if they don't score and 130 if they do score. 60-50 currently the score.
It's going to be a big challenge against Kieran Collier and Serena Montero with two Bludgers back.
No, I think it's more about getting Littleton out of this penalty. But also, I mean, hey, if you can get Bludger control before switch on pitch, that has value too. It's really about how much space they can use, and Boston is smartly pressing high in their mark defense.
Right. Collier and Montero, you're correct, will not.
Yep, no, that's a high press from Montero too.
Press,
it's gonna be that's gonna be the first reset used, and he's wrapped. Collier's gonna make the beat, and as soon as he gets possession, that'll be the 20-minute mark. So mission accomplished here for Washington. We're gonna have to figure out this scrum between Collier and Hicks. Oh, so this is going to be big. Collier's bludger is going to be on the ground, and Hicks is going to have her bludger, which means it might be an immediate bludger control turnover before we get to snitch on pitch. There'll be 10 seconds. We did hit the 20-minute mark. Score is now 60-50 Washington. And now it's all going to be about the Seeker game, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we've yet to see who is going to come into the Seeker box. Yeah, this is a lead for Washington, which they will have wanted, but if I were them, I would have wanted to have a few more goals built up to prevent against a Boston snitch catch and keep them in the game. If say Harry Greenhouse, who has been the starting Seeker for Boston, gets another quick pull.
Right. We like we said, Kieran Collier and Serena Montero are still the ones on the field. It'll be interesting to see if we see the quick switch over to Maria Nasta and Ashley Dolan, which we usually see in snitch on pitch.
Yeah.
Nardone and Smith have already played a pretty long shift. I actually think Hicks and Burgess were just subbing in, so we've seen a lot of them on snitch on pitch. But interesting question, who will be the Seekers? I imagine it'll 100% be Greenhouse. Will Jenrette get the first shot, or is Trudeau going to put himself in? He gave himself a rest. Justin Cole's been playing keeper. What's the look going to be? Does the head coach want to do it for his team? Justin Barnard, solid snitch, as we talked about, but not a stranger to either of these Seekers. Of course, it was Smutney that really got the better of Greenhouse the first time around.
Tyler Trudeau is going to line up opposite Harry Greenhouse in the Seeker game. This is a matchup that we have all been waiting to see.
It's a long history together. I mean, these two have won a lot of titles together. They played on a line together when QC Boston won their title. They've played on Team USA together. They've won a a title with this Boston program together. Sorry, 2 titles with this Boston program together.
A gold medal.
Yeah, there's a ton of history. And now they'll each get a shot at Justin Barnard, with the catching player probably getting the almost assured inside track to a win here, because it's going to take 7 more points from Boston, 6 more points from Washington. I'm sorry, Ryan Fenning just went right through the defense, which means now it's going to take 6 more points from either team. We're all knotted up at 6. No beaters anywhere to be seen right off the bat. So Greenhouse and Trudeau both going to get a free shot. Burgess quickly gets one on Greenhouse. I believe Collier also got one on Trudeau. So both seekers sent away.
That's right.
Big, strong lines here from both sides. Okay, he spins right through Costa. Gets it over to Bear. Can Bear score here? Bear has to kind of reset it. Mulcahy does get the ball, though. Eats immediately a tackle from Fenning. Has to flip it over to Bear. It's going to be a back contact, so it's going to be an advantage here for Washington. Can they score? Dolan sees Sheridan, but ultimately it's not going to matter, because here's what's going to happen. Amendola is going to call that penalty, and it's going to be a wide-open far side goal for Julia Bear. Meanwhile, in the seeker game, it's Greenhouse getting the clean look at Barnard right now, with Mario Nasta protecting it. Oh, there's that back contact is not going to be called. Totally understandable. There was a lot of spinning at the moment of contact. So it's going to be 60-60. Washington fails to convert on their first attempt. Speaking of first attempts, Greenhouse now getting a good look at Barnard. Almost shoots the gap. Nasta and Dolan keeping the bubble up. Archibald working on Julia Bear. And it's a great screen there by Grace has to, but it's a big tackle, and it's complete loss of control from Archibald. He just gives it to Brian Mulcahy, throws it the other way. We're knotted up. Sorry, no, it's 70-60 Washington.
And Boston, the chasers were just completely overextended on that play, allowing Washington to run the other direction. They have to know better, because they hit teams with that often in snitch-on-pitch situations.
Yep. Boston bench calling for their first seeker sub, but that'll, of course, be Tyler Beckman. I think Derek Greenhouse went down a little bit injured, so it's going to end up being a free sub or maybe a little bit of bleeding. But that's the sub that they wanted anyway. Quaffle's just with Archibald in the middle here. It's that pick and roll game that they love to run in these situations, but Justin Cole just stepped out hard on Archibald the first time. Will we get a better look this time? It's Bear playing the point. She's going to eat the screen, but then Cole's immediately going to step up, and Bear's going to stay on the pick and roll. This is great pick and roll defense here from Washington.
Yeah.
Mulcahy and Fenny on the side. Fenning gets it to and wrap. No. Fenning slips out. He's now working on Mulcahy. Passes behind to Casa. Casa bounces it off the hoop. And, oh, my God, do we have a catch? No, they're going to be handing it back. The call's going to be called no good. Still live, though, and Washington's now going to have a chance to extend their lead.
Tyler Trudeau is lying on the ground with this.
And Tyler Trudeau, more importantly, is bleeding from the turf. So TJ Jenneret is going to be coming in, I assume. Yep.
That's a tough break for the Admirals.
Yeah, but another chance here to score on offense. Hutton is now in the game at beater. The other beater is still Melissa Smith against Nasta and Dolan, who have not subbed out yet in the beater game while Snitch is on pitch. 70-60 the score. We're playing to 120 here. Washington's not in a rush to go here, though. I honestly think I would be. I think they need every point they can get here.
Yeah, as Tyler Beckman lunges and gets pretty close.
Jenneret's going to get a shot here. I think it's his first time seeing Barnard.
Yep.
Oh, long beat from Nasta there. Screen from Heald. Sheridan in the lane. Slips past Doyle. His shot's no good. Oh, and it's finally Justin Cole who's going to put it away. At the same time, it's not going to matter whether the catch was first or not, but it should be a goal and, if good, a catch for Beckman. We'll wait to see what the calls are. Score before any scoring on that play is still 70-60 Washington. If all the scoring counts, Boston will have a 10-point lead. I think a beat might be being called. Beater Brendan Hutton was definitely asking for one, but the refs are going to continue to discuss. Meanwhile, one of two things is probably going to happen in the qualifier game. Either goal will be called good, or the qualifier will be given back to Justin Cole, and the goal will be good.
Yeah. No, it was well worked from Washington to shake off a couple Boston defenders and find Cole open at the small hoop.
Long discussion here from the refs. Yep. So still a lot of action left both on this pitch and at our Series of the Week coming up rapidly down in San Antonio, where the Soldados, starting the season 3-0, will take on their cross-state rivals, the League City Legends, who have started the season 3-6 and actually be finishing up their season. The first team in our league to finish up their season this weekend. That said, I shouldn't say finishing up their season because they are looking to be likely to qualify for championships. Should be a highly intense matchup. A lot of talented quaffle players on both sides of the ball. And then that Soldados beater core. I mean, don't even get me started on it.
Yeah, no, I'll be excited to delve into the film on that one. We're obviously focusing pretty heavily on the East Division right now, but there's a lot of talent in Texas right now that these East teams, should they qualify for MLQ championships, will have to be prepared for.
You can't take a step on the San Antonio Soldados. All right, so all the scoring plays are going to be good. That's going to make Boston a 95-80 leader in this game. This game is still very much up in the air, though. Only 10 points separate the teams.
Yeah, again, Washington, takes a blow in the secret game with Boston catching the snitch, but they're only one goal back, and so they can't treat this game like they maybe have past games where now suddenly they're down 30, 40 points. They have a chance to win if they can outperform Boston in the chaser game.
That said, it might be a 2-goal lead in a hurry because I think Archibald has a lot of room to run. It's going to be dependent on if Hutton can get his bludger back in the defensive zone. Nasta and Dolan are in pretty good position to make that not happen. And Melissa Smith is way on the other side of the field. I think Hutton might be able to get just a pass back to Smith to at least slow things down. But I definitely think Jake Archibald's going to want to run here. Game is to 120. Boston needs 3 goals. Washington needs 4 goals. And as you said, Washington now falling to 1-5 in snitch decisions. Boston improving to 5-1. It's always been one of their strengths. We've talked about that stable of seekers they've got.
As Hutton throws back to Smith and gets the bludger in the defensive zone, preventing Archibald from running.
Yep. That's what they needed. Force this Boston team into a half-court set, but it is going to be against bludger control. Smith is looking to make a play on Nasta. Not going to happen there. It is going to be a beat, so it's going to be no bludger. Dastu looking for Doyle. Doyle, just a volleyball set through the middle hoop. That is the kind of half-court offense we want to see from this team. Doyle finishes in a big way. Boston needs 2 more goals to clinch the win. Washington now needs 4.
I love the touch shot. And again, Zach Doyle coming into the game, off ball, finding space, making himself a target, and putting the quaffle through the hoops when Boston needs a goal.
Cole to Sheridan. Sheridan swinging over to, I believe that's healed behind the Boston bench. Pressured high by Dolan. Oh, and it's a slip by Doyle. So Doyle giveth and Doyle taketh away as Mulcahy gets wide open in the zone, puts it through.
Well, Mulcahy is a tough player to mark there.
Of course.
Changing directions and driving towards the hoops. Washington still 1 goal back.
Yeah, by no means taking anything away from Brian there. Boston now needs 2 goals to win. Washington needs 1 goal to win. What a series, series we are getting here down in the D.C. area.
Definitely. We're coming in for another tight finish.
Okay, he beat out by Dolan. Dastu is unmarked except by Smith. She slips it over to Archibald. Archibald looking to run on Sheridan. He eats a tackle, gets around it. It goes back to Dastu. Cole crashing on Dastu. The ball is loose. That's going to be a turnover. Dastu also came off for Broom. Washington has a chance to, not technically by score, but basically even things up here.
Yeah. That's a costly turnover from Grace Dastu, who usually has very sure hands. But they're going to give Washington now a chance to even the score.
Oh, and Nasta wins the exchange with Smith. That's going to force a reset, but Doyle might make it hard to reset here. Oh, they were able to get it out. A big play there for Sheridan to use the reset, and that's a missed beat. I don't think it's going to matter because they have 2 back. So no harm, no foul on that missed beat by Nasta. And it's 1 reset used for Washington on this possession. Nardone is the one picking it up alongside Smith. Okay, he looked to make a cut, but no cuts happening against these 2 bludgers, I don't think.
Yeah.
Double beat there, I think, is called. Trudeau had some space, but Dolan's going to step up. Again, they have no reset to use here. Sheridan's able to recover. Sheridan's got a lane. The defense completely overcommitted. Oh, but it's Archibald with the big tackle.
Sheridan's got to find Heald there, who was unmarked and running towards the middle or the far hoop. Missed an opportunity to score there.
We'll see if there is a call on the play. I think they're going to say that Archibald. We'll wait for the call. I don't want to. So I believe the call was that Archibald came off Broom during the tackle, then affected play. So that is going to be big because now Mulcahy, I can't tell if Ashley Dolan has a ball in her hand right now, but I believe that either way.
That's your box, the yellow line. You're good.
Oh no! Mulcahy tried to swat it through and has missed. A huge missed opportunity from Washington to even things up. And that's really kind of been the story of the season at times for the Admirals.
Yeah, they're going to look back at that one and regret it, I think.
Arjona and Havlin now back in the game. That was a long shift from Nasta and Dolan. Nothing to complain about, though. Obviously, they get the catch. They also are able to at least exchange goals in the Quaffle game, which is all Boston needs because they do have the 1-goal advantage.
That's right.
Oh, and Havlin just takes it right off of Smith. A big play from the veteran. And then the tap beat to get her out of the play. Havlin creates a no-bludger on a miss by Nardone. It's Teddy Costa trying to get by Sheridan. It's going to be Mulcahy who eventually meets him. It's looking for a gang tackle. They get him down, and it is a swarming Washington defense once again coming up with the stop.
Oh, wow. Washington's defense is keeping them in this game right now, covering the Quaffle player behind the hoops. As Tyra Trudeau now runs the other direction and Jake Archibald finishes his penalty.
Yeah, power play killed, but it was the lack of that player that allowed them to gang tackle like that because there just were a lack of passing options.
Yeah.
Havlin having a big play here, beating out both defenders. But again, Bears got some space. Kenshi uncork one. It's Zach Doyle coming flying through the zone, making the hit. Sheridan's beat out. It's going to be a chance for this first line to run. Costa in wide open space. He's going to be met by Trudeau. But he has Jake as an option. Oh, and it's the beat by Nardone. Just back in the nick of time.
Yeah, when you thought he was out of the play, he comes back, makes the recovery, and catches Boston off guard.
Starting to see some subs now here as Costa's going to come out for Greenhouse. We're waiting to see if there's a call. Scenario has not changed in quite a few minutes at this point. Boston needs 2 more goals. Washington needs 1 more goal. Bludger control. Oh, and this is huge. There's going to be a violation called in the Bludger game.
Yeah, and we've seen Washington, when Cody Nardone and Melissa Smith can get Bludger control, they can keep it for an extended period of time. So this could be a big change
Well, the good news is
Washington.
they got Bludger control. The bad news is that I think they've had enough of a shift. But Burgess and Hicks have been a solid second line for this team. They will be making the step in.
That's true.
As you mentioned, Bludger control is with Washington. A lot of minutes from this top line of Washington, so we'll see if that energy becomes a factor.
Right,
admittedly, a lot of minutes from Archibald and Destu as well. Mulcahy is called not good. Greenhouse takes a spill. Breyer is looking for Trudeau. She finds him. A big tackle attempt here from Doyle. Eventually, Hicks cleans it up. Greenhouse gets beat by a hard beat by Burgess. There is a foul call coming from an AR. I don't know if it's advantage. And I think that ball's eventually going to go back to Trudeau.
Yeah, not sure what the penalty call will be.
And this is something we've seen a lot in these kind of not next goal win scenarios, but post snitch grab scenarios in MLQ. Offenses really tighten up. You know, the goals suddenly seem a lot harder, and every goal means so much that some people even come out a little bit scared to make a mistake.
Right, the MLQ endgame scenario has been a game changer in that teams are really focusing more than they ever have on single possessions and executing in the half court. And defenses as well are looking to plug all the holes and prevent any opportunities to score.
Zach Doyle out on back contact, a yellow card. This is the kind of power play that Admirals can definitely make a difference on. They have so many open chasing options right now. One of them is Sheridan. He's going to pick it up. They shift onto him. Ball goes back up to Trudeau. They've got plenty of time. They've got a full minute to work, and they've got bludger control. Dastu's beat out. Greenhouse tap beat, but it's a pass across the bouquet. He makes this one count. We are all knotted up. Well, not knotted up. It's 105-100 Boston. First to 2 goals will win. Can Washington get its first win of the season, or can Boston remain undefeated?
And Washington has one bludger back now in the hands of Bernie Burgess. They've lost bludger control.
Yeah, it was that swat from Greenhouse that created the bludger turnover in that play, though Washington was able to get the goal. So it's a big play there by Greenhouse. Skurra now into the game, leading scorer coming into the weekend, looking to make it count. Costa back in the game as well. Greenhouse has the ball. They have bludger control. Havlin is deep in the opposing zone. Mulcahy is just taking as much space as Havlin's willing to give him. Costa now working on Sheridan, back to Greenhouse. Greenhouse has a lot of space. He could uncork. No, he's going to go over to Costa. Costa across to Bertram. Bertram gets swarmed by Trudeau. Another huge stop by the Washington defense.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to trust their chasers there with Max Havlin camped out in the Washington keeper zone. It was ultimately going to come down to a chaser around the hoops making a hit if Washington was going to stop the play.
So if you think of this as like a soccer PK shootout, now Boston has missed. It's first to 2. The advantage for the first time is with Washington. The only thing they don't have is bludger control.
Right.
Bear's going to get some space here, though. I don't think anybody sees her. Can she finish? Greenhouse finally swarms and Havlin. Bear just took a little too long. I'm sure that a lot of people were swarming, but she had to get that shot off a few seconds earlier.
Yeah. And now advantage back to Boston as we are on the seesaw right now.
Havlin is deep in the opposing keeper zone, beating every beater out. But again, Harry Greenhouse just got stripped by John Sheridan. Another careless error by the Boston Forge.
Yeah. Yeah. There's got to be better communication on the pitch to avoid a situation like that. Somebody's got to be telling Harry Greenhouse what's going on around him.
Okay, so that's just going to be an injury timeout. I guess, okay, he's definitely bleeding from his knee. So Farnan's going to come in the game for him. Also, though, there's no rest for the Wicked, and the Wicked this case being the first line, the first beater line of the Admirals, because Melissa Smith and Cody Nardone are back in the game.
Yeah, I think Smith and Nardone and Hicks and Burgess have played the entire game in for Washington, and it's paid off so far.
Nardone beating out McGargan. Greenhouse's next man up. It's going to be a reset up to Trudeau. Bludger control with Montero and Havlin now. That ball is going to be loose from Havlin, but Nardone can't capitalize. Farnan has the ball. Greenhouse steps out, but he doesn't get the tackle on him. And Farnan has scored. Washington is 1 goal away.
And they're pumped up, but they can't quite celebrate yet. Boston is coming right back at them.
110-105. The Washington Admirals, in 5 seasons in the East Division, have never beaten the Boston Forge. They are 1 goal away, but now Ian Skurr looks to make it 1 goal for his team, too. And that floater slips through. Next goal wins. Second time of the weekend.
And the assistant ref is coming into the play to signal that the goal was no good.
So there's going to be a conversation. If good, it would be 115 to 110, with the goal score being 120. Sorry, the set score. If it's no good, Washington would have the ball with a chance to win and no risk of a return goal to end it.
Right.
Either way, bludger control is going to be with Boston. But Washington, I'm surprised Washington isn't taking this chance to maybe scheme a play up here, because they can throw all caution to the wind. A goal ends the game.
Yeah.
So as that ball was flying through the air, it was not a live quaffle because Ian Skurr was beat before. But because it was tipped off by, I believe it was Dale Farnan flying through the air, it became a live quaffle that then went through the hoop. We are at next goal wins. It is the proper call. Melissa Smith has the only bludger for Washington. Havlin and Montero have them from Boston. Trudeau with the ball. A chance to get a win against his old program. With Bear on the field, she was with that program as well. She's got the ball on the right. A high press by Havlin. Trudeau's got the ball again. He's working on Greenhouse. The Bludgers are out of the play. No, sorry, Montero is right in the middle of the play. She's going to press. Trudeau is just going to fire it off. I thought they still had their reset. But either way, it is now Boston in a next goal win scenario. Montero and Havlin leading Ian Skur down the pitch. It's a long pass. Oh, no, it's too long.
Oh.
Trudeau picks it off.
Wow.
Careless there from Skura.
What a
And Trudeau
play
is
by Tyler
hurt.
Trudeau, and he is down.
Throwing his whole body onto that pass. So either way, though, it is going to be Admirals' ball. There's no ref call on the play, which means it's going to be another chance for Washington to score the game winner. But it's not going to be with Tyler Trudeau on the field. I can tell you that. Justin Cole's likely going to be the sub. So far, each team has had one attempt to win the game at next goal wins. The Washington one was a high press from beaters that forced Tyler Trudeau to throw the ball away, and the Boston one was that long Ian Skura pass that fell into the hands of Tyler Trudeau. Justin Cole has the ball. The beaters are in position, the Boston one, so it's going to be a half-court set. There's not going to be a transition opportunity. Cole, Sheridan, Bear, and Farnan, the Quaffle players in the game for Washington. Mulcahy and Trudeau both coming out with injuries recently. Nardone asking for a sub. He's not going to get one on this possession. Smith with the ball, trying to go through Havlin. She gets beat by Havlin. Havlin is able to recover his bludger. Cole is in the lane. Cole looking for Bear. Bear dodges the beat. Oh, but she gets tackled by Greenhouse. Good defensive effort there. Oh, wait, Nardone has the ball. Nardone's beating all his Quaffle boys away. Farnan has the ball. Farnan to the hoops. Farnan has scored. The Washington Admirals have beaten the Boston Forge. What a win for the Washington program. Their first of the season. Their first ever against Boston. 120 to 115 is the score.
And you can see how much this means to the Washington Admirals and their whole program as their team storms the pitch.